talking to Daniel Wherley, Coordinator of Development and Public Policy at the Alzheimer's Association of Greater Los Angeles. Hi, Daniel. This is Connie Corley. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me today, Connie.
Well, I thought it would be a great idea for people to learn more about the longest day. And since you've been such a stellar advocate and fearless leader for those of us who've been going to Washington and in Sacramento, we've gone up to the state capitol as well as our work, of course, in Washington, D.C. at the the U.S. Capitol. So here we are now, and it's the month of June. Can you talk about the longest day? What is the longest day?
Sure. Well, Connie, June marks Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And on the summer solstice, what we wanted to do was honor the dedication, the sacrifice, the sort of experience of those who are facing Alzheimer's and their caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that every day to day that this is a long burden that these folks are carrying. And so we wanted to honor them with activities on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. So what we have are teams all across the California Southland doing various activities to honor those they care about, those they love that have faced this disease, and pay tribute to them. And while raising awareness about Alzheimer's disease, they're also raising funds for the Alzheimer's Association so we can better support those who are going through this daily struggle.
Great. Now, tell me a little bit about Alzheimer's disease. A lot of people are not sure what it is. Can you say more about it?
Sure, of course. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disease that falls within the broader category of dementia. So at the Alzheimer's Association, we are associated with obviously Alzheimer's disease, but we care for those who have dementias of all kinds. Alzheimer's disease in particular is marked by loss of memory, thinking, and change of behavior that is a progressive condition over time.
Okay. And what does the Alzheimer's Association offer to people who either have Alzheimer's disease or people who are caring for them?
As a national organization and as a local chapter here at the California Southland chapter, we offer a range of services for those who are facing the disease. We have a 24/7 helpline, which is available in multiple languages for those who want to reach out to get any sort of referral, caregiving advice, emotional support. We also have care consultants on staff who are available to give that sort of face-to-face or over the phone support for those families who are dealing with this very challenging environment. We also have support groups that are housed in our facility on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles and our other regional centers. And we have a host of sort of education and caregiver training, as well as advocacy and other things to advance the cause to move towards a future without Alzheimer's.
Okay, let's talk just a little bit about advocacy and then we'll come back to how people can learn about the longest day and what they can do. So, I mentioned at the beginning that we had a chance to work together at the Capitol in DC and up in Sacramento, and every state goes through a lot of activities. So, what kinds of things does the Alzheimer's Association advocate for?
Well, again, we work on multiple levels, both the federal, the state, and the local level. And at each of these levels of governance, the Alzheimer's Association is interacting with officials to try to recognize not only the sort of spread of this disease as a public health crisis, but also that we can take concrete steps to address the needs of those who are facing Alzheimer's and hopefully curtail the incidence rate going into the future. So what we have on a federal level, we're advocating for more and more research funding from the National Institutes of Health because we know that the National Institutes of Health are a primary driver of any sort of research into infectious and other sorts of diseases. And we know that that is truly where we're going to bend this trajectory of Alzheimer's disease. And we're also working to support the needs of those who already have Alzheimer's and their family networks and those who are working to help them. So on the state level, for instance, here in California, we're working right now to not only improved surveys in terms of data collection for those who are caregivers,
Mm-hmm.
but we're also working to pass legislation that will help give medical doctors and medical providers a better understanding of how to recognize Alzheimer's when they see it, and how to advise those patients on next steps. Because what we often have are families are either not getting a diagnosis, or if they are getting a diagnosis, they're left in this sort of gray period where they have a diagnosis, but they don't know what steps to take next. So
Yes.
we're trying to help provide that bridge, and that we know that legislation can help provide that infrastructure for families.
Excellent. Well, could you give our listeners the information on both the Alzheimer's Association and the link to the Longest Day fundraiser?
Of course, of course. Our local chapter, our address is alz.org/SoCal, SOCAL. One of our most helpful resources is our helpline. That is, people can reach that at any time of day in multiple languages, and that's 1-800-272-3900.
Mm-hmm.
And also, for the longest day, they can access that at alz.org, once again, /TLD, as in the longest day.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. This has been very helpful, and I think a lot of people will learn more about Alzheimer's disease and how it impacts families, and also not only in the United States but internationally. And the International Alzheimer's Research Congress is coming up in Washington in July, and I'm looking forward to going there and doing some reporting for our uh, our Southland and national and international constituents.
That's great. Thank you, Connie. And I also want to say thank you to you and all the other listeners out there who are part of the longest day. I mean, we have people doing things as diverse as hiking up to the top of Mount Whitney.
Wow.
We have people just spending a day at the beach in honor of a parent. And we have, Connie, you yourself are helping us by arranging a yoga session out in Santa Monica. So there are all sorts of different ways that people can get involved. And we really appreciate their support because it's helping us help those in need.
Thank you so much again.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Connie.